Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. This is the first podcast for counselors that just don't align with the traditional approaches to business and that want to use their spiritual gifts, talents, and interests to create, you guessed it, a private practice with soul. So, look, leave it to me to provide you with everything you need, including strategies that you can use to increase your income, reduce your workload, and of course, increase inquiries and referrals to your beautiful soul-led private practice. I love it so much. If you haven't done it already, grab your journal, grab your pen, and let's begin. Welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and joining us today is Buddy. I don't know what to call him for his middle name. He's just been in trouble for chewing just about everything in this study this morning. He's had a go at the wooden buttons under my desk, the lining underneath my desk chair, and been jumping on furniture. So he's not having the best morning this morning, little buddy, but he's having a cuddle with me now because he's starting to calm down, which is lovely. He's got puppy school. I have to have an induction on the 5th of October before Buddy's allowed to go to school. So I guess he'll be going to school a week after that. So I've got another month of this, but that's okay. He's doing great. We have good mornings, don't we? We have good mornings, and then we have mornings where they're a little bit more of a challenge because Buddy has a lot of energy. He needs to find new ways to burn it up, and he's not so interested in, well, I'm just having a look around now at the floor, and he's got 11 toys on the floor, all different ones. But, his favourite thing is having contact with me. So, of course, whenever I want to work, he chooses not to play with his toys and he wants to be, finding other ways to get my attention, like destroying my stuff. But anyway, he's having a little cuddle now and he's going to go to sleep. So, that's all good. And we can get on with the show. So, one of the things that I want to talk about today, or really the main thing I want to talk about today, is energy, masculine and feminine, of course. And I want to relate this to money, but I also want you to think about how it can relate to how you're receiving things in your private practice. Okay, so think of it not only in terms of money, but in terms of inquiries or referrals or bookings, or maybe applications for new team members to join your practice if you're at that stage and you're growing the business and you're expanding, things like that. So just to begin with, there are a few things that we want to just revisit around the masculine and the feminine. So let's have a look at those. If you don't know and you're new to it yet, divine masculine and divine feminine energies have been known for a long time. And in fact, when we think about the 18 universal laws, there is the universal law of gender. So it's not based on the sex that you were born or anything like that. It's just a term that's used to identify two different types of energies. That's it. So you can be, born a woman, but have you can have a core feminine energy, or you can be born a woman and have a core masculine energy, and vice versa, right? You might be born a male and have a core masculine energy, or you might be born a male and have a core feminine energy. And anyway, we also see this in Eastern philosophy as well. I think it's, phrase yin and yang there. So old concepts, been around for a very long time, not related to sex. Okay, just let's get that off the table first. And there are two types. So there's masculine and feminine. And within those two types, we have, healthy or sacred or divine, and the other is wounded. Okay, so let me just recap what they are for you. So the feminine energy in the divine or healthy state is all about intuition, all about being receptive and receiving. So the feminine energy receives. The feminine energy is free-flowing, is radiant, magnetic, attractive, creative, expressive, connected. The divine feminine energy is trusting, she surrenders, she's playful, she's compassionate, she has healthy boundaries. You know what I mean? All those kinds of things. She has high levels of self-worth. And yeah, that's that. So maybe you identify as that yourself, but think about, an aspect of your business. So today I want you to think about this in terms of money. That's the first one. The divine masculine is kind of the opposite, right? So it's present. Okay, it's very present. It's structured and disciplined, very decisive, it's goal oriented, it's achievement oriented, it has a clear purpose, is about giving. Okay, so the feminine receives, the masculine provides. It's about taking action, it's about having integrity, problem solving. This energy is very grounded and very focused, whereas the divine feminine, it's very flowy, right? So not focused. On a typical day, let's say a private practice owner that is mostly in their core feminine might find it really easy to, have lots of tabs open on the computer and be easily moving between them, welcomes distraction, happy for the phone to ring while she's in the middle of something, happy for somebody to come and knock on her, office door and ask her a question, isn't bothered by any of that. But the masculine, it's like, I've got office hours. If you need to talk to me, you do it in the office hours. I'm putting my phone on do not disturb while I'm getting this task done. I'm focused on just one thing at a time, and then I'll get onto you, or then I'll get onto the next thing, right? Stuff like that. And then we have the wounded versions, right? So sometimes they're referred to as shadow versions, but I don't think that they're shadows. But anyway, the wounded versions or the unhealthy versions of both energies are as follows. The feminine, who have low self-worth, feeling really insecure, really doubting themselves, being manipulative, over nurturing, right? Think about maybe, are you engaging in over nurturing with some of your team members that are working for you? Are you being over nurturing with some of your clients, things like that? Overly emotional. So, when things aren't going your way in the business, are you saying, it's not fair, this sucks, it'll never happen for me, why did I even think about doing this, etc., etc.? Like, is it all just going straight to emotion? Waiting to be rescued, not wanting to do the work, just waiting for the next free thing to come along, perhaps that's going to just solve the problem instead of wanting to work through the problem yourself for an answer. Feeling inauthentic, so presenting inauthentically. So maybe it's with marketing, for example, just marketing on your website in a way that doesn't feel right for you, but you're doing it because you looked at other people's websites and that's what most of them were doing. Or writing a Psychology Today profile that doesn't really reflect anything about you or who you are or your message, because you looked at others and you just sort of modeling those or copying those, right? So things aren't feeling authentic. Codependent, clingy, too needy, and feeling quite disconnected, okay? All those kinds of things. So think about those aspects of the wounded feminine in terms of something that you're working on that isn't working out for you, or you're not getting results yet with your private practice. And with the masculine, it's having like this real need for control, being kind of aggressive in it, overthinking things, being quite narrow-minded. Well, there's only this option or that option. I can't possibly do anything outside of the box or outside of the square. Being quite critical, being quite judgmental. How come she's charging that fee? What right does she have to charge that fee? I'm only charging this fee. You can't charge more than your supervisor. How come she's charging that fee when she's only got a diploma, right? That kind of thing. Needing to prove yourself by overworking. So maybe you're not making money yet in your practice. Maybe you're not seeing the types of clients that you want to see in your practice, all those types of things. But you keep yourself busy because it kind of makes you feel less of a failure. Like you're thinking to yourself, not that you are, but what do I want to say? In your own mind, you're saying, well, I'm working hard and therefore, it's not my fault that things aren't working out. I couldn't possibly work any harder than I am. I work 17 hours a day, that kind of thing. But really, you're not focusing on the work that you need to focus on. You're avoiding that, and you're keeping yourself busy with all this other boring stuff that probably doesn't need to be done, or that could be done a lot later, or that isn't high on the list of priorities. Overdoing, very reactive, cold, and unemotional. So there's some of the things, and they're not. That's not a comprehensive or complete description of those four energies, but it's enough to get you started. But I want you to think about this in terms of money, okay? Because I know we talk about, oh, I need more clients and I need more referrals, but there's reasons that you need that. Yes, you want to have the altruistic value of I want to help more people, but also you need money, right? And having clients is definitely a pathway to you being able to have money. So if we think about money in terms of masculine and feminine, I want you to think about, just for yourself, would you say for your private practice, money is more a masculine energy, or is it more a feminine energy? And I'll tell you what I think in a moment, but I want you to have a think for yourself about how you see money. The other thing too is just, and I'll come back to that, but the other thing too is relationships tend to work when, well, there's that old saying, isn't it? Like opposites attract. When we're thinking about energies, if we've got, masculine energy and masculine energy, say your private practice, or let's say you and money are both masculine, things aren't going to work out. You'll be butting heads. If you are in your feminine and you think money's in its feminine, nothing's going to work. You'll never be seeing results because you're not doing anything to get the results, right? You're just focusing on being. You're not focusing on actually doing anything, right? So you're just being. And in this sense, what I want to share with you is that there has to be one and the other in order for there to be harmony, in order for you to receive what you want in the business. So I'm not sure what you thought or what conclusion you came to, but for me, money is definitely masculine. I think it's masculine because of all those things that we shared before. Like, it provides that container for you. But masculine always needs a direction. It needs to be called in. It needs to be invited. It needs to be consulted. It needs to be asked for, requested, those kinds of things. So in that way, the money is definitely feminine led, right? And what I mean by that is the feminine leads by intuition, by desire, by wanting, right? There's something she wants to receive, okay? Maybe it's clients, maybe it's money, whatever. But, so she leads. She says, I really, 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 really want 5 more clients this week. Oh, I really desire that. That's so on my heart to be able to help 5 more people this week. And then the masculine can come in and say, okay, then let's make that happen. And the masculine comes in and says, right, what do we need to do? And so then the feminine takes a back seat. The masculine steps in and says, right, here's what we're going to do. Here are the things that we're going to do to attract these 5 clients this week. And then once you've got that framework or that structure, the masculine steps back and the feminine steps in and up and shows up and builds the connections and builds the relationships and does all those kinds of things. In terms of money, we can take it even further and say that if you wanted to manifest, say, I don't know, an extra $1,000 in your business this week, you have to declare that that's what's going to happen. You have to state that that's your big desire, that that's what's on your heart, that that's what you really, really want. And then the masculine's going to come in and say, hey, yeah, I've got this, leave it with me. Let's see what we can do. And it's going to provide you with that container. Remember, the masculine provides. But if you're just in your masculine and you're doing, then what's happening is you're having a block, a conflict with the money or with the clients or with the referrals because they're masculine too. So we've got two masculine energies bumping heads, right? Nothing's going to work. And this is the hard thing for so many of us to accept, that, you can do less in the business and receive more. Absolutely, that's how it works. But the thing is, you don't just stop doing things, right? The masculine is doing. That's what you've got to stop. The feminine is being. So the feminine is being creative, connected, surrendering, trusting, flowing, being radiant, being attractive, being magnetic. They're the things that you have to do, right? Not posting more on your social media, not stressing more about tracking your numbers. Yes, those things have to be done, but there needs to be balance. So do them, but also bring in balance. Okay, so ask yourself, how am I allowing myself to receive here? Have I set things up in my business to receive? And maybe this afternoon, while I don't have any clients, instead of forcing myself to sit down and write another blog post or a social media post that I don't want to write, maybe what I'm going to do is do something creative for myself. Maybe I'm going to paint. Maybe I'm going to go out into the garden and be with nature. Maybe I'm going to go for a walk along the beach. Maybe I'm going to play with my puppy, who's now asleep and snoring in my arms. Maybe, I'm going to do something that makes me feel really good, like I'm going to go and get my hair blown out, or I'm going to go get facial or something like that. Doing things that make you feel really, really good still count as work, because your work is to balance these two energies. So any of those things that we just discussed, they count. They count towards the results. So what I want you to know is that if you're not seeing the results yet, are you allowing yourself to spend enough time in the feminine? Okay, in the divine feminine. The other thing to think about as well is, when we think about relationships, right? And you have a relationship to money, right? You have a personal relationship to money. Your business has a relationship to money, stuff like that. But what was I going to say? Forget what I was going to say. Oh yeah, when you think about relationships, I don't know, maybe this has happened to you. You've maybe worked with a client, or you've had a friend or someone talk to you about the relationship, and they're like, oh my gosh, he's so controlling, or she's so needy, and all of this sort of stuff. Think about what would money say about the relationship it has with you? Would money say you're controlling? Would money say you don't let it breathe? Would money say you're trying to take the reins on everything? Would money say that you're overworking, that you're overdoing, that you're being really reactive? Like, if I asked money, how does, Jill respond when a bill comes in for her business or for her personal life, and money says to me, oh yeah, she's really reactive, she gets really angry about it, really mad about it, and huffs and puffs, and she waits until the due date to pay it, and then she resents it, and and if she owes somebody money, she resents paying them back. And do you know what I mean? Like, is that what money would be saying about you? Have a think about it from that perspective. If somebody asked money, how do you deal with it? What would it say? And that might give you some insights. Because when you're in a relationship and you're being controlling or needy or overly demanding and things like that, the other person shuts down. And it's the same here. The masculine energy shuts down, and it says to the feminine, fine then, I'm not going to lead. I'm not going to provide for you. You seem to have a better idea of all of this than me. Fine, you do it then. I'll just take a step back. And it steps back. And then you don't receive anything. And you're like, this isn't fair. This isn't working for me. So really have a think about your relationship. Have a think about the masculine and the feminine. Consider where you identify your core energy to be. And look, to be honest, we have it's called dominant energy, right? So what are you mostly in? Are you mostly in your divine feminine? Are you mostly in your divine masculine? Are you mostly in your wounded feminine? Are you mostly in your wounded masculine? And where is that in relation to masculine energy itself of money? Okay, and where do you need to be? I'll tell you where you need to be. You need to be in divine feminine when it comes to money. That's it. So even if you identify as being in the divine masculine when it comes to money, that's great that you've identified that, because now you know what's been stopping you from getting it. So we need to swap you out into the divine, and you're going to do that by focusing on things like feeling intuitive, allowing yourself to receive, allowing yourself to rest, allowing yourself to be, free moving, free flowing. Do those things that make you feel connected. Allow yourself to trust and surrender in the process. Okay, and maybe you just give yourself an opportunity to experience this, even if it's only for a week, and just see what happens with money in your practice, or whatever it is. You don't have to use this for money. You might use this for getting inquiries, or you might use this approach for attracting new team members, things like that. Yeah, it's just something that's really, really interesting. I'm going to be running a workshop on masculine and feminine when it comes to marketing. If you're interested in that, let me know. You can just message me on Instagram at The Private Practice Coach, or find me on Facebook. I'm sure you're probably in one of my big communities or in one of my membership groups. But yeah, just connect with me there. I will be putting not an ad. I'm not going to run ads for it, but I will be putting some posts up on my social to let people know that I'm going to be running the workshop. And I'll also be running just a general troubleshooting workshop for people with their marketing, because I know that, so many of you are having some trouble with it, and I want to help you out. So I'll put up the 2 for those. They'll be free workshops for those who come along. If anybody wants a replay, there'll be a fee for them. I haven't decided what it will be yet. It'll probably be 97 Australian dollars or 97 US dollars. I haven't decided, but free for those who attend on the day, paid for those who want replays and things. Anyway, I will let you go. Mr. Buddy's well and truly asleep now. I'm getting a dead arm. I have to figure out how to put him in his bed gently without waking him up. Oh, my darling boy. He's having a stretch. I love this little baby so much. Good boy, Buddy. Okay, I hope you have a really, 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 really wonderful day. Any questions about masculine and feminine, of course, just let me know. I'm more than happy to help you. Bye. Thanks for listening. I hope that you loved this episode as much as I loved putting it together for you. To get more resources to help you in your private practice, head over to Instagram. My handle is at The Private Practice Coach. And also, if you want more inquiries and referrals for your business, let me know. I have a program called Clients on Demand that opens every quarter, and I can absolutely get you some information for that as well. You are doing an amazing job. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. Bye.